My name is Humza Khan. I am a professional dancer and a young entrepreneur and owner of Za Dance Studios. I think that I've always been somebody who's been in tune with his movement, and I've always been dancing. I've never been shy to get up and dance at like weddings, but I think that when I first had my event in middle school, it was like my first ever dance event. I think that that's when I discovered my talent for dance. My very first year, my freshman year, I was that kid that didn't know anything about choreography. I came from a freestyle environment where I used to just break dance on my own. I used to just kind of freestyle to music and just have fun with dance. Dance in its like truest form. When I joined dance team, obviously you have to learn choreography, you have to learn formation changes, you have to learn transitions, all kinds of different stuff. That was my first time ever experiencing like dance in a different world. That's why I have a very special spot for beginner dancers. There's a big misconception with dancers where they feel like in order to become professional or in order to achieve the goals that they want to achieve, they need to start at the age of like 3. That's just completely not true. I've met dancers that have been dancing for like 2 or 3 years, but they've been training insanely rigorously and consistently. And they have gotten themselves to a point where I've seen them dance better than dancers that I've known that have been dancing for 10 years. So the amount of time doesn't really matter in the sense of how good you want to become as a dancer. It's the quality of time. How are you spending that time and how hard are you truly working? When you're taking classes, are you just learning the choreography, or do you have a goal set in that class, and are you trying to achieve that goal? Are you trying to like get lower on your levels? Are you trying to dance cleaner that class? Are you trying to add more textures? Are you trying to perform better? You know, when you set these goals for yourself and you start working towards it when you're taking classes, when you're on your own and videotaping yourself and things like that, you'll improve a lot faster. So my sophomore, junior, and senior year in high school, I set out to get as good as I possibly could with choreography. I was naturally great with tricks, and I was naturally gifted with being able to break dance and being able to spin on my head and be able to do the backflips and the tumbling and all the wild stuff. But I struggled with picking up. So I set out for those next 2 or 3 years to strictly work on picking up choreography. My senior year in high school, as soon as I graduated, I left the small town Fort Wayne, Indiana, and came to Atlanta. I walked in there with so many goals for myself. I wanted to get signed as a professional dancer. I wanted to work my first ever dance job as a professional dancer, and I wanted to be on TV for the first time as a professional dancer. And I set all those goals for myself to accomplish that first year. So I moved down to Atlanta and I got signed that same week that I walked into 411. I ended up joining their company team that same week. I ended up booking my first ever job, and that job also happened to be on Netflix. It was an episode on a series called Legacies. From there, my career kind of took off because I held both components. I was able to do all the tricks and the wow factors, but at the same time, I was able to blend in with the dancers next to me. And that kind of made me a double-edged sword. So I would go to auditions and I would be able to pick up choreography, and I would be able to do enough and execute enough and clean enough to where I didn't necessarily stand out, but I could keep up. And when it came to the freestyle section afterwards, that's where I ate everybody up. You know, how are you gonna compete when a guy's spinning on his head? That was my forte with dance. And from there, I booked, jobs with Nickelodeon. I booked jobs with Disney. I danced with Kanye West. I have done jobs with Kodak Black and Autumn Marini. And I just kind of really just took off with my dance career. And from there, I wanted to give back to the community. For me personally, the dance journey almost seemed a bit all about how good can I get? How well can I present myself? How many jobs can I book? What can I do for me? Even with my background of being on a dance team full of girls, I was still the only boy. So I was put in the center, front and center every time. From being always in that spotlight to kind of shifting that perspective into putting others in that spotlight and helping others grow. That type of fulfillment I've never experienced before. To be able to grow dancers and provide a space for dancers to become friends with each other, for dancers to feel comfortable with expressing themselves, for dancers to feel passionate about something and all share that same talent and passion with each other. It has been a life-changing experience, to say the least, because I have never been put in a position to kind of give back. And now that I'm doing that now, I just want to continue doing that. I think that the biggest accomplishment that we've achieved at the studio is the culture. I remember being a professional dancer and constantly taking classes and, just trying to get out there more. And it is a very, very, very competitive environment. It is an ultra competitive environment. And the thing about dance is that a lot of people don't realize that it is super judgmental because they have to be. Everything about dance is about your movement, how you look, how you present yourself. And what I've come to find out is that the best way to allow people to grow is to create a space where people feel like they can experiment with their bodies, where they can experiment with their movement, and where they can feel free to try new things. You know, once a culture is created, it's hard to undo it, but creating a new culture is a lot easier. So when I opened up the studio, one of my main objectives was to make sure that the space is very inclusive to all dancers. The beginners don't feel intimidated, they feel inspired. And I think that that's a very important culture to create within the dance community, because it allows people to want to take risks, to be like, oh, let me try to whip my head this way, or let me try to stomp harder, or let me try to, swing this harder. And that in turn allows them to grow more than I'm just gonna do what I know normally looks good. And when you get into an environment where everybody's encouraging each other and everybody's very inclusive, then I think that is one of our biggest accomplishments, is creating that environment. Next year, we're gonna be starting up our first ever company team. So this team, we will offer more in-depth classes about dance, the fundamentals and the true terminology and all of the things that a normal dance studio provides. We've kind of been more of a drop-in studio to offer drop-in classes for people, but now we have built a community of people where I feel confident in being able to educate people further in dance, and there are some people who really want to take dance to the next level. And so for those people, we're gonna offer a company team, and those people will have a team of dancers that they can come in and they'll join, and they'll be able to, they will have a set instructor that they'll see every week. They'll have classes set for every week, and they'll learn routines, they'll learn dance terminology, they'll learn dance fundamentals. It's not just gonna be come in and learn choreography and call it a day. There's gonna be dance drills, there's gonna be stretching classes, there's gonna be technique classes, there's gonna be all kinds of different stuff, and they're gonna learn multiple different dance styles of their choice. So, very exciting things. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Humza Khan, and I will see y'all around.